So I'm Michael Filato. I basically do lead gen automation for B2B. So it's LinkedIn and email automation. I've been in sales for about 25 years and built my company from zero to about $70,000 MRR in less than 12 months. So been going really well, not working for someone else the rest of my life, and have basically been able to build something that is repeatable and scalable. That's the biggest thing, because I'm not a SaaS platform. I don't have technology, but I'm a person that's built a process that's repeatable and scalable. Lots of people will hire SDRs, sales development reps, that are kids. That's their first job. They're going to go out and make appointments for you. They have to be taught. They have to be. They get frustrated. They don't know what they're doing yet. So that's the internal approach. Sales development reps. Lots of turnover because they want to be account executives. And then you got external companies that look like Michael Filato, look like outsourced lead gen appointment setters, but they're usually hiring kids to work for them, same problem, but then they're out of the country. They're in Philippines, South America, other countries where English is maybe not their first language, or the way we speak here in America and vocabulary and means are a little bit different. So I look at it, listen, if you want to do it that way, talk to me in 3 or 4 months and you probably come back. But you're talking $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month for someone that hasn't had a database or experience. So I've been doing this for 25 years, have worked for a company called TechMate recently, which is kind of how I built Full Throttle. TechMate went from 250 to 2.8 million in the last 12 months. While I was doing my company, because I was doing lead gen for them, and I built mine up to almost 700,000. Before that, my background software. I worked in Monster, Symphony Talent, JobVite, also sports marketing, sold to the NFL, United States Tennis Association. Then I started bringing all these sponsors into it. So pretty good background for there. And then also was in the Air Force for 12 years in the reserve. So I kind of have a military background, a software background, a sales background, and an entrepreneur background. There's about 127 references on LinkedIn if you want to kind of research who I am and what I do. There's about 18 on Full Throttle. Full Throttle's nickname for me was because of a Marine that I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with. He's a cop. It's Orlando Police Department. He gave me a nickname of Full Throttle, so that's how I kind of got the name, and that really matched who I was as a sales guy as well. So that's kind of the origin of the name. There's publications, panels, summits that I get asked to, hey, can you speak about top of funnel? So again, there's plenty of history of what I've been doing. But the main thing is, can you send out enough emails and LinkedIn invites to get people to book a meeting with you? And the whole idea for all of us especially is like, do we want to do this ourselves? Do we want our clients to do this themselves? Or do we have a kind of a repeatable, scalable way to send out 20,000 emails or 150 invites a day? You can only do 100 invites a week on LinkedIn. If you send 20,000, 30,000 emails a month on Gmail or Outlook, you'll get your account closed down. And you got to also watch your bounce rate, your unsubscribe rate. There's a lot of things that people don't know that I didn't know when I started doing this. But the whole idea is to do A/B testing. I get about 2 to 5 meetings a week on average for my clients, and about 15 to 50% open rates on average. There's so many filters that you can pick, saying, hey, did he just raise a Series A? Are they an Oracle shop? Are they a $20 million company? Are they 10,000 full-time employees? Tons of ways to kind of look at it. ZoomInfo is a good, similar company that has data, but if you're buying them, you're spending probably $1 per name, and you have no automation, no expertise, and no anybody to help you. So it's much cheaper to hire an expert that has the data and capability of doing sequencing on email and LinkedIn. This is an example of a company in LA, 40, 50, 60, 70% open rates. I got Guess, Sears, Home Depot, some pretty big companies for them. I also got some medium-sized companies. It really comes down to, what is your ideal customer profile? What is the percentage you want to go after? And let's filter those in, and let's start thinking about, how do we get them on a call for discovery? Let's not sell them what you do and features and functions, but how do we solve a problem that they're trying to solve? If your client or you have Salesforce or HubSpot or any other platform, it's real easy to sync them up so you can see what's going on what am I doing? What's being said? What's emails been going out? So it's a great API that it has the capacity of. On LinkedIn, like I said, you can only do 100 a week because I know their email address and their LinkedIn profile. I can basically send them 150 to 200 invites or emails a day. Emails cost money. I can do that for free because if they have a profile that's open, I can automate that, and I can also do a drip across LinkedIn. If you have Sales Navigator, I can pull leads list from there. Also, send to first connections. If you look at the cost breakdown of SDRs versus hiring someone like myself or my company, it's probably $30,000 to $40,000 a quarter if you have to manage that person, pay for insurance, Social Security, lead gen, the lead list, health insurance. Then you're probably looking at maybe 500 emails a day they could send out, and that's probably going to damage the domain. The whole idea is to do it technically right, so you don't hurt your LinkedIn profile or your domain. So I do about 300,000 touches for about what you pay an entry-level lead gen person, which is about $5K a month.
Okay, you have more time. I had a question, and
Sure.
By the way, if anybody has other questions, you can drop them in the chat.
Yeah.
Have you done this for recruiting, particularly for technical talent?
Yeah, right here. So I actually added that, Michael, about maybe 8 months ago, because my background is in HR and tech and recruiting. I'm getting a lot of people saying, I love what you do, Michael, but I need to hire a VP of sales. I need to hire 3 SDRs. I need to hire 4 AEs. So yeah. I'm like, you know what? Why don't I do a reverse lookup and go, give me every enterprise salesperson in SaaS in Illinois or in Florida, whatever the target is. And I could basically send them, hey, this is Michael from Full Throttle Recruiting. Just wanted to see if you're available for a quick call to see if you're interested in this, or if someone that you know is interested in this position. And I basically placed the VP of sales, enterprise sales director, and was working on some other ones. But that's a great question. But I definitely do that as part of my services as well.
Okay. Yeah, I have a prospective client it's going to be a little different because they're trying to build a software development center in Latin America. So everything will have to be in Spanish and Portuguese. I don't know if that's an area where you can help, but that's the idea.
The database on LinkedIn and email is worldwide. As far as Spanish, I know my wife is Spanish, so I can write Spanish with her, but I'm not for me, I just know how to write English. So, and then obviously different Latin markets have different meanings. So we just got to make sure that the content makes sense for that country. That's all.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Other questions? You drop them in the chat or just chime in, because it's pretty informal today.
Yep. And I hate I usually don't go this fast. And I usually like to ask questions.
Michael?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so as far as like your lead gen process, is it like, does it leverage advertising, or is it email or DM automation? Like
it's email and LinkedIn, which is kind of listed right here. So I do emails and I do LinkedIn automation for invites and emails on LinkedIn, and just emails. I don't make phone calls. I'm not a salesperson for that company. My whole thing is to automate your outreach, use the database that I pay for, protect your email domain, make a subdomain, know how to set that up, and just basically automate it so that you could focus in on revenue generating activities versus who should I click on today? Who should I try to find? Who should I talk to? The ones that you have as connections that you know how to get a hold of them. This is more for colder outreach approach.
Oh, okay. So, but do you also work with people that are like first degree connections as well?
First degree connections, I could send them a mass message, but to me, I think that's dangerous. Who knows what was said that last message to them? You could, like, one of them could have been, hey man, I'm be in Chicago next week. Another one could be, I just want to introduce myself. So I just sent a message that looked like you're just blasting them my message. So I'm very nervous about sending that for the first connections, because it's very specific messaging. Now, if you're going to do a webinar or something and say, hey, I don't know, I just want to let you know what's going on in my life, and we're doing a webinar. It's a little more, that's probably a safe way of doing it, but you gotta be careful that you don't look like you're just spamming people, especially on LinkedIn.
Especially your first connections. So Keith, actually, I don't know if you were addressing his question. What about webinar/roundtable recruiting? Keith, do you want to sort of expound upon that?
So for about the last 4 months, I've been working on and perfecting the roundtable webinar concept, and I've gotten it down to a formula where I can do 5,000 emails and get 3 to 6 meetings in the pipeline regularly by putting on these roundtables. Just wondered how you would support something like that, and interface with my CRM, so it's all, you know, buttoned down to match the process that we've set up.
What CRM do you have?
I've been working with Sam AI out of New York City, which has a roundtable scheduling module. It can run along as a sidecar to HubSpot or Salesforce. You can use it standalone. I also have used SharpSpring, and I'm working on a Salesforce project right now.
Yeah, so my platform will connect to pretty much any CRM.
Yep.
And it has
Exactly.
a Zapier API as well.
I noticed that was Zapier.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy for it to connect, but it's basically recording the activity that I'm doing. It's not necessarily sending you the stats and analytics. That's the dashboards. We'd have to look at it together on a screen share, or I would send a kind of a screenshot of. But the whole idea. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, let's follow up. I don't want to dominate everyone's time here, but I've really gotten this down to a formula, and it looks like we should talk and figure out, because right now conversation's the new content. People are tired of clicking and downloading and reading your white paper. Right?
Yeah.
It's getting on and doing this. Now imagine having this meeting with 20 people that you don't know that are your target customer. So I see what you're doing, and I'd love to connect.
Great. I'll put my information right now in the chat, so you guys have that as well. But the whole idea is, if you send out too many emails, you don't clean your emails, you ruin your domain, you ruin your deliverability, your emails will go to everybody's spam. You're like, what's going on here? So if you don't set up a subdomain or alternative domain, you don't use a separate email server, that's very dangerous to use. And then if you have HubSpot, you're using their sequencing platform and using your Gmail, HubSpot could also shut you down as well. I'm not for sure who has all the people in the background talking, but it's very distracting.
Oh, sorry, that might be me. I'm sorry,
Okay.
because I am a.
Yeah, you know, I'll add to that point you just made, Michael. The technical aspect of doing the mailing, you may get shut down by your provider like HubSpot, but you may also just get on blacklists that you don't even know you're on.
Yeah, and that's what I have an email engineer that works for Coke. He had worked for Coke, and he does still. So we know how to set up the SPF, MX, DKIM, DMARC records, MX records. I don't know how to do that myself, so I actually have a retainer with a email engineer that works for a major company and does all the setup. So it's done right, because you don't want to get blacklisted, and you don't want to deal with people saying, where'd you get my information, and you're going against GDPR concerns, whatever. So I basically provide domain automation protection, LinkedIn automation. Again, if it looks like you're on your LinkedIn and then I'm on your LinkedIn automating it, and you don't do it right, then you'll get shut out of LinkedIn as well.
I got a request. You actually showed, by the way, you said you have somebody who works for Coke. Is you pay him in cocaine, or that he works?
Heroin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so the you showed a picture of the dashboard, which I thought was pretty interesting. Could you sort of dig into that and just explain it a little more? There was a percentage opens, percentage, et cetera.
Yeah, I'll show you a live one, because I think it's hard to read that. I'd rather kind of show you.
Okay, and I'll shut off my mic.
Mike will show off his mic. Let's see. So you can see here that I can see my replies. I mean, I send a lot for me. I send 50,000 emails a week for me, but I have 12 to 15 meetings a day that I produce from email and LinkedIn. You can see I'm getting about 30% open rate, and I do lead gen, which is not that easy to get that kind of open rate because people don't know what the difference is most of the time between me and 15,000 other companies that do this. I can look at open replies. You know, I could also click on this and say how many emails I sent and how many, which ones are doing the best. There's a lot of different dashboards. Look at different messaging, different sequencing, different industries, different titles, which ones are getting the most open rates. Again, Moneyball approach, right? If you understand the stats and analytics, stop doing the same thing over and over that doesn't work, or change up the subject line, change up the how many days they go out in between. So those are the types of the things that I'm able to do with my platform. And there's just, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice setup that I can have the database mixed with the sequencing and see everything kind of live. And I basically, you know, charge a retainer per month of $5,000 for per month for 6 months, or $4,500 on a 12-month contract. Then if you're recruiting, I don't really do the retainer approach where, I'm sorry, the contingency fee approach, because a lot of times you get burned when you're a recruiter, when you take 25% of the first year salary. So I basically say, hey, for $4,000, $5,000 a month, I'm going to be able to find you the right candidate pretty fast. And instead of spending 25 grand, you're going to spend 5 or 10 grand. So that's kind of my play. And again, I for making $600,000 to $700,000 the first year and probably $800,000 this year, as a guy that's always been a software sales guy his whole life, making 150 to 300,000 and thought I was doing pretty well. This is a whole nother level, you know, whole
Very
nother
cool.
level. Yeah.
Thank you. We're out of time, past 15 minutes. Really interesting stuff, Michael. Thank you for sharing. And I apologize again for the noise in the background. So we have, I don't think we have any guests. Everybody here is a member, so I don't need to do my spiel. It's good to see some people back who haven't been here in
Michael,
a while.
So actually, oh wait, I was just about to say that I did invite a guest, and I see that she's back. So that's awesome.
Is there somebody who's not in, or?
Yeah, I think Krista might be here for the first time.
Krista's been here before.
No, you were here before? Okay,
Mhm.
my mistake.
Yeah.
Hi, Rajiv, though. Nice to see you here.
Nice to see you also.
I have to go to a demo that I created for myself. So it's working. I got to go make a call, but I'm sorry for hopping in and hopping out because
That's all right. Thank you for
Michael,
picking up at last
Michael,
minute.
real quick, do you still fly?
I was in the Air Force for 12 years and I was a videographer and
Oh,
mechanic.
videographer, all right.
Yeah, so I wasn't a pilot, but I flew in KC-135s, which are the tankers.
I know. I'm a pilot, so that's why I was curious.
What, like, did you serve too?
Unfortunately not. All private, but Maryland Transport rated. So
Well, it was nice meeting everybody or seeing you all again. My information is in there if you want to book a time. And Michael and some other folks are already getting $400 or $500 commission checks a month from me already because they gave me some good referrals. So I would love to help you out. And I just had a call before this with someone from this group that does CRM setup. So this has been a great networking tool for me. This whole
Terrific.
platform.
I look forward to connecting on the roundtables and putting on events with you.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you. All right. So I dropped in the chat the order in which people more or less arrived. So we'll go in that order. And about 2 minutes, I will hold this up, and you may hear it ringing if I'm not on mute. I will also go to speaker gallery. So if you're not speaking, put yourself on mute because it does switch, and speaker gives me the opportunity to highlight whoever is speaking. So we'll start with Alan, then Rajiv, and then Bryce. So Alan Winnikoff, take it away.
All right, thank you, Michael. It's nice to be back. I know it has been a while. So people ask me, what do you do? And my knee-jerk response is always, well, I own a PR firm. We've had our agency for about 20 years. Our 20th anniversary will be in 2023. But it's really misleading at this point to say I own a PR firm. PR is still what we do. And it's interesting, kind of surprising to me that clients still want that core publicity, right? They still want those earned media hits in newspapers and magazines, even though nobody's reading newspapers and magazines. That's where they still want to be. But we've had to evolve our business over the years. We wouldn't even be competitive if we hadn't. So we're really a full service marketing agency at this point. Social media is at least half of our business, possibly more. We handle social for pretty much all of our clients, and some clients we do social only. We do paid content. We have a client, thanks to Michael, that is a healthcare startup, and we are, as a startup, they're very, bare bones. And so I have been serving as their basically ad hoc CMO. I brought in a graphic designer to do their website. That's Christina Hagopian, who you guys might know, who's part of this group. I brought in an SEO firm. I brought in a videographer, and I manage them all as a marketing team. So we offer directly, my agency offers a lot of marketing services, but the services we don't offer, we have relationships. And that's really one of the main reasons I'm in this group, is I want to know what the scope of services that people offer within the marketing umbrella, so that I can go out to clients and say, okay, I don't do that, but I have somebody I trust, who's a trusted partner, who I've worked with, who I can bring into the group, and I know they're going to give you first-rate service. So yeah, sure, I'd love some new business leads. And I will tell you just real quickly, our focus is primarily, but certainly not exclusively, okay, Michael, media and entertainment, but we also handle nonprofits and, as I mentioned, startups. And so if you are interested in talking to me about either partnering or connecting me to a potential client, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks very much.
Okay, and Rajiv sent you a message to everyone. Let's reconnect. Okay, who is next? It must be Rajiv. There you go.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Politicians and people in the public eye reach out to me after character assassination on Eyewitness News. The bad press is killing their campaign and is ruining their relationships, impacting their families, and it's creating a lot of stress. These are some of the concerns of my top clients and where I do my best work. My name is Rajiv Jadhav, CEO of R Square Media, an award-winning reputation management company based here in New York City. My superpower is dealing with these crazy sensitive situations and being able to delete the bad press from Google and social really fast. And I would love to have conversations with all of you and reconnect with those that I haven't spoken to recently as well. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, Rajiv's done some great work. He sometimes plays a video of a client he worked with. It's a reenactment. I don't think that's the woman who
No.
got turned down for a job because somebody with a similar name, similar look, had a criminal background, and of course that had to be corrected. So really, really powerful stuff.
Thank you, Michael. You were paying attention. Props to you.
I definitely pay attention. Bryce Wade, all the way from British Columbia, Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning, everybody. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to show everybody some cool tech that I've recently got really into. So I don't know if anybody's seen this before, but this is called Miro, and I absolutely love it. It's probably my most favorite tech that I've ever come across, and here's why. Basically, a lot of people are audio, some people are visual, a lot of people are visual, some people are kinetic, learn by doing. And one of the great things about Miro is that you can really create a lot of a map. for what you're trying what you're trying to talk about, what you're trying to do on the fly. So whenever I do meetings now, I use Miro to kind of map out the conversation and what we talk about and where the opportunities are. So when I do this now, I generally sit down with somebody and say, hey, what are the goals for this year? What are you trying to accomplish? So put the goals on the right side, and then we put where you are on the left side, and then we try to figure out what happens in the middle and how we get there. So for a lot of businesses, the question is always, how do we grow the business? And especially right now, how are we preparing for the recession that is now, in full swing? It's starting right now. And one of the things that I like to focus on is what a company's MVP or market dominating position is. What makes your clients go with you over somebody else that offers the same service? And what do you want people to know? What is the thing that you're trying to teach people that makes you the unique company that you are? And how are you getting that information out to them, right? And how do you get the eyeballs on who you really are? Are you trying to be famous, or are you trying to grow the company, right? Do you want people to know the knowledge, or do you want people to know you? Right. So I have a couple different things that we've recently put together that really help do this, which is Infinite Google that we just recently released, which is $120,000 of Google ad spend per year for 25 grand. Really powerful system, right? And the other one is hundreds of media posts and backlinks to PR for your company. So if anybody's interested in doing a deeper dive into this, let's make a map. I'm happy to connect and just chat or show you the benefits of Miro. Thanks.
Bryce, is
Yes.
this like some tool or something that you're using?
Yeah, it's Miro.com, and I actually just signed a reseller referral agreement with them. So you can check it out if you want. But if you want to help me out and throw me a couple bucks, you can go through me. But yeah, I'm basically an evangelist for this now because it's such a powerful tool. I really don't do presentations anymore. I just build a map of what I want to talk about and go through it, and then work with people to figure out what the opportunities are.
So it's kind of like a Kanban chart.
Yeah, but it's a lot more powerful. One of the things I didn't show is that you can use this for internal teams. So it has a video conferencing aspect to it. You can also vote in it. So like there's companies that have 1,000 people on like an all hands meeting, and everybody can collaborate and do stuff and talk about stuff and move stuff around. It's a really, really powerful tool for team building. And I use it for a couple of the other groups that I'm a part of for the purpose of being like, hey, what are the things that we all care about? What are the priorities? What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Like it's a really, really, really powerful system because there's really no limits on it. You're not forced into any templates. You're not forced into anything that's within the system. You basically build whatever the hell you want.
All right, let's. Bryce always has some really cool technology that he brings to the group. Thank you. And if you've noticed in my newsletter, I just now have a section where I'm talking about cool marketing technology. So this might be something I want to highlight and certainly include your link. So next, and we should move on because it's 37 now. Mark, then Andre, then Rochelle. Let's keep it to 2. Mark, you're up. Mark Harry.
Hello, I'm Mark Harry. I'm just putting my little quick bio for LinkedIn in this chat. I too have a really cool tool. I like to use a little bit of common sense in a keyword audit. And I do that on a lot of websites. Generally, I do about 4 or 5 very comprehensive keyword audits. I put the 25 years as a business owner at SEO Game into that audit because I've been keyword centric for all of those years. The clients I work with currently today and in the last 15 years are digital marketers and SEO companies. I call that under their label, white label SEO. So not to differentiate from white hat or black hat, I am a white label specialist to only make digital marketers look good for their SEO rank delivery services. Rank delivery is just being able to deliver ranks on the first page of Google, make them pop, and do that on a performance-based model. I do that very well. So anyway, SEO Game is the way to connect with me. And Rajiv, I love that you like my tool. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And Mark is in Utah. I don't know if he's in the hot part of Utah, but I think a lot of Utah is pretty hot right now.
It's hot everywhere.
It's hot everywhere. It is Utah, right? Okay. Let's move on. And who did I say was next? Andre, then Rochelle, then Larry Joseph. Andre, you're up.
Hello, everybody. How are my headphones here? They're brand new headphones to me. So, okay, great. My name is Andre Archambault. I've known most of the people in this room Michael certainly and Rajiv for over a decade. Mark and I just had a one-on-one the other day, which was great. And I just started a new opportunity about 2 weeks ago with a company called CloudRack. We are a Salesforce integrator. I spent most of last week in Toronto kind of getting my feet wet. Most of our business at the moment comes through Salesforce directly. They actually only do about 5 to 7% of their own installations and integrations. So we come in as a trusted partner. We are a gold level partner for them. I happen to have a good handful of friends who now work at Salesforce, one of whom I've known for almost 40 years. At the end of the day, we are there to enable any level of Salesforce implementation, whether it's Salesforce CRM, whether it's Pardot, Marketing Cloud, or really any of the solutions that Salesforce has to offer. So if anybody would love to chat with me about that, I would love to take the opportunity to do so.
Thank you so much, Andre. And Archambault is the way you pronounce his name. And I think that's your email as well.
It is.
The BO at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see who was next. Rochelle, then Larry, then Sarita.
Okay, good morning. Well, close to good afternoon. So I'm Rochelle with Dynamic Business Growth, and I say it's dynamic business growth and not schlep along business growth. And I find that companies have a very hard time speaking about their business in a compelling way. They are very often boring, long-winded, and common. So basically, I don't know about you, but I tune out, and I'm assuming that so many others do as well. So I always say, when you talk about your business, are you storytelling or boring telling? Did you just tell me an amazing story that based on that story alone, I get to see, like, how did you pull a rabbit out of a hat? What is so extraordinary about you? So creating these dynamic stories that highlight your expertise, that positions you as the Freedom Tower and not some low-lying, dilapidated home, that's basically where I do some of my best work. So if you need to elevate the way you speak about your business so that you can really command top pricing, let's have a conversation.
Sorry for the silence. I was finding my my microphone unmute. Okay, thank you so much, Rochelle. Rochelle is a master at what she does. And she also has been doing a workshop.
Right. So again, I've been so successful recently in having people charge more for their services because they can speak more effectively about what they do. So that's about that for the moment. And let's hear who's next.
There's a president that I know that needs help with his communication style. Larry Joseph, then Sarita, then Keith. Larry, you're up.
It's been a while, so let me get to it. Fortunately, I'm coming off a couple of very busy months. But of all the advertising tools available to business, perhaps the least creatively used and most impactful and desired by consumers are branded promotional products. Recent surveys show that over 85% of customers prefer receiving a useful item with your logo than getting any other form of advertising. Plus, there are over 900,000 advertising specialty items, customized wearables, and other items to promote your business to choose from. I'm Larry Joseph of Takeoff Products, and I navigate my clients through the incredible power of adding targeted marketing collateral to their marketing mix. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty on that.
That's fine. You've been busy. Any recent success stories you want to tell us about?
Well, just I took over the store site for online store site for one of my clients, and with the supply chain issues, trying to restock the stores from especially items that are imported from Asia with their branding on it has been a little bit challenging. But no, it's just, surprisingly business, it was a horrible 2020, 2021 was not great. 2022 so far, I'm up more than 50% in what I did over 2020. So, it's just been very busy because people are beginning to come back to me. I just spoke to a client yesterday who I don't handle their store site, but I do handle all their branded promotional items. And they've got 10 stores around the country. They're the US division of a high-end German kitchen manufacturer. And I've been providing them for many, many years. And she called me yesterday. She said, we're out of inventory on just about everything. So I'm going to be placing some orders with you next week. So I'm hopeful the products are available for her.
Very cool. Thank you so much. All right. And next up, Sarita Jackson, and then Keith, then Krista.
Okay, well, just last week I had an interesting conversation with a gentleman who owned a nutrition bar company. And he just got out of the company, but I asked him, well, how did your company do in terms of exports? And especially since the company goes back to a little over 20 years ago, I said, especially during the Great Recession, he said one of the things that helped that particular company to stay afloat was the ability for us to export, to sell our product in overseas markets. And I really love that story because that's a lot of one of the things that I encourage small business, mid-sized companies, and many of them already understand, that you can also generate revenue by selling your product in the overseas market. But it's not just identifying a market and selling, but being able to have the research and the right strategy to do so, not to just export to that market or sell in that market a good or a service, but to be able to do so competitively and over the long term. So if you are a company or you know of a company, a small mid-sized company that already understands the importance of selling internationally, but wants to do so the right way, even in the midst of the challenges that we are dealing with in the global economy, give me a call. I'm Sarita Jackson with the Global Research Institute of International Trade.
Hey, Sarita, did you connect with Matthew Sawyer at some point? He's the guy who wrote the book. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I did, and I need to follow up with him actually to speak at my August, every fourth Thursday, we have an informal get together, bringing manufacturers, producers from all around the world. So I'm trying to get him to speak.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you for that connection.
Matthew just wrote a book. He's a member, not an active member, but he just recently wrote a book called Make It in America, right, which is not about manufacturing in America, but making it as a business who wants to sell in America. So also something interesting that's happening in the group. Okay, Keith, I'm sorry, and then Krista.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? I know just about everybody on here. So I love, Rochelle, what you talked about was telling the story. So instead of going through my pitch, I thought I'd just go off the top of my head. About 4 years ago, I had a double pulmonary embolism. I was working at a job. And when I got out of the hospital, I pretty much quit my job and said, I'm going to write my book, because if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. 4 months before the pandemic hit, I published my book. So my worldwide book tour went on hold, and I sat and just worked on how do I turn that book into a business. And the book is based on a method that I've used for about 10, 15 years. It's 7 principles that if you follow those things, you'll have a content strategy. I've been a CMO and head of business development for a long time. And every time I'd enter a situation, I ended up doing the same thing over and over. So those 7 buckets of having your North Star, an editorial strategy, your distribution and promotion of your content, the community and events that you participate in, the marketing automation that you have, the sales training and integration to make sure that the content that you produce is used by your salespeople, and the ROI model that you can talk to your CEO and CFO about, so that they'll trust you to run your marketing and stay out of your knickers. And so that's what I've done. And then I've built a set of workbooks to help teach people. The agency model is so broken. And as a CMO, I saw that in spades. And as a head of strategy at an agency, I saw that in spades. You know, people don't want to pay $500 to make a GIF. You want to train your people internally to manage as much as you can, and then have strategic partners that help you execute programs. So that's what I've done to build Publio, is help you with your strategy and help you execute that strategy. And I think I just got a blurry wave off. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to connecting with you again.
I guess it was a little bit blurry. Okay, Krista Gianak.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you're saying, Keith, about the bigger picture. When I write for my clients, for me, it's all about the trust factor. I know we've been talking about trust today. Rajiv, Larry, we've been talking about building trust and being memorable, getting noticed, whether it's with promotional products or with building the reputation, all of that, it's all important. So what struck me about, you know, these common threads is that I'm also all about telling stories. Rochelle, I love that storytelling or boring telling. I promise I won't steal it. Because clients come to me when they feel like they're being perceived maybe as ordinary, or when they're not getting that story across. It's ironic that for so many years, I shied away from my story, whereas now I embrace it, I speak about it, and I help clients to do the same. I write a variety of different types of content, but the common thread is that I build trust and boost credibility by sharing their knowledge, wisdom, and impact. It's really important for me to build relationships with marketers so that I can be part of that team, or so that I can refer when I have a direct client who needs their services. I had some wonderful conversations with Mark and Rajiv, and I'm really enjoying getting to know everyone. That's why I joined this group, Krista Janik, Wise Words That Matter.
I'm gonna have to get that pronunciation right. Janik, almost as if there's no I in there, but the G is soft. Okay, Janik, wonderful. Thank you, Krista. And so I didn't miss anybody, right? Then I will do my little spiel. As you know, my name is Michael Bendit. My company is called Software Development Resources. And the thing that I think differentiates me is people consider me a resource for technical help when it comes to programming, even though I myself don't do any of the programming. I have about a dozen teams that do that. And my job is to make sure I can match up the right team with the project. So I got a call last night from a member of this group, Lemore Morgenstern, who had gotten a call from a small nursery that's selling plants, not a nursery school or a people nursery, but a plant nursery, that wants to not just create their first website, but make it an e-commerce website, which is a challenge. And she knows that being that this is their first foray into the web, they probably are not ready to spend a lot of money. But the question is, so which options are good for them for an e-commerce platform? So we talked about the three that are the most popular at the low end, or three of them that are most popular at the low end. Certainly WordPress is an option. She was looking at Squarespace, which has an e-commerce option, and Shopify, which is very popular. And I, helped her figure out, what are the challenges, what are the benefits, what are the costs of each of those, and how much will it cost to build on each of those. And this is before, she's got one call from the client. This is to help her, educate her on what are the questions that we need to ask. Two questions that came up that are really important that were going to affect the success of this business. One is they're a nursery and they sell live plants. And that's fine if you're local, but if you're going to try to ship that stuff, it's not easy. And it can be done, but it may not be the best place to start. So one of the things I recommended is maybe she should start, or the owner should start locally. And the second was, what type of POS system do we have to integrate with? Because if they're selling something online that they're also selling in their local shop, and they sell out, they need to make sure that that's known on the e-commerce site so that they don't sell something they don't have. Rochelle, you have a question? You're on mute. And I'm going to go back to gallery mode.
Do you support companies and let's say having them decide which CRM would be best for them, or that's not in your wheelhouse?
Yeah, now we don't really focus on CRM selection. That's more of an integration service or systems integration where you're implementing a package and figuring out which package is the right one. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you, to share some of my knowledge, but our teams are really focused on building new systems and then oftentimes working from a platform which enables you to do that.
I have a client that has a dilemma with, we have to talk to the client because you might be the person that I've been looking for and don't even know it. You see what, when you tell a great story, do you see what?
Exactly. So I'm trying not to be too boring tell. So we have like 5 minutes left. If anybody wants to add some comments, questions. I did, as you may have noticed in the newsletter, and I mentioned it when Bryce was finished, I've added a new section on cool technology. And I included in this week's newsletter a tool that I use called Blink, B-L-I-N-Q, which is an electronic business card, and quite cool because I don't know if anybody tried from the newsletter to scan the QR code, but I tested it and it worked. It pulls up my contact information, which you can then save to your to your contacts. Rajiv, did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah, so what you said about helping the client figure out between Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, etc. So I just wanted to know if you recorded that conversation, because that would be a great webinar. Because I'm potentially like consulting a potential client who is kind of dealing with that. Like she has like an art gallery and somebody has recommended art spaces or something like that. But, I obviously would like to know if you have any thoughts on that.
Sure, we could talk. I'm happy. I'm always open to talking about those sort of things. And sometimes the platforms that are designed specifically for a particular vertical might be the best way to start, because you at least get your name out there, you start getting your art out there, in this case, and you start getting comfortable with e-commerce or having a website, having a digital presence. Sometimes you don't want to jump directly to a more sophisticated system, but absolutely happy to talk with her.
Yeah, and also Michael, like I'm in very, very early stages with a client who potentially wants to make like a Netflix clone. So is that something that your dev team could potentially help with?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be as sophisticated as Netflix, because I probably don't want to spend, $30 million from the start, but I'm sure we could do something for a lot less than that. That'll be a good copy at their budget level.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
can
Yes.
I ask you a quick question? You just started talking about a company called Blink.
B-L-I-N-Q.
B-L-I-N-Q. I use this tool. I don't know if anyone can see it. It's called Popple.
You switched you're showing us the back.
I know, I'm showing you the little.
Oh, it's a QR code. It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's a little sticker. Is it blurry or anything?
It's just small, or maybe it's dark. I don't know.
Yeah, we can't
It's on
see
my
anything.
phone. You put this little round little sticker on your phone, and it's called Popple. And I can't get it to work for a darn. If anyone knows anything about Popple and how it works, I'd love to meet with you on a one-to-one. In fact, I'd like to meet with anyone on a one-to-one. But I'm glad I had a chance to meet with Andre this week. And oh boy, I met with Michael, who just gave his presentation today. And then our other, who else did I meet? So I love meeting with people. Krista, that's who. Sorry about you, Krista. I see you there. So anyway, yeah. If anyone knows anything about those Blinks or Popples, I'd love to talk to somebody.
Blink is actually free. It's easy to set up. I don't make any money promoting it. I just think it's cool. And it's for free. I couldn't make any money even if it was 100%.
What is it though?
Is that a digital business card?
It's a digital business card, and it gives you
I have
free.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one. They're all over the place. There's like a base platform of technology, and then these guys with ShareCard. I've been using them in the roundtables as a way to just, like you'll see in the chat, it's got a way to text, it's got a QR code, you can share a link, it's got a card, it's got the little round dot that you showed, Mark. There's a ton of these out there, and they really are amazing because not only can you download stuff quickly into your CRM, but on this one, you can also start advertising directly to your audience, to the people that you meet when you're out on the circuit. So you have Facebook advertising right connected to your business card, as well as your
Yeah.
CRM.
Yeah, and a lot of them you can put the QR code on a card, a printed card. Yeah, it's at the top of the hour. Rochelle, are you waving goodbye, or you just want to talk?
No, I gotta get on a call. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you all for coming, and our next meeting will be Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. And if you know folks who might be interested in being part of this, that trust, or just came across and think what they do is compelling, please introduce them to me. You could send them the link directly to the sign up. Krista, thank you for introducing the videographer. Unfortunately, I guess he didn't make it, and I was a little bit late in getting him the link. So
yeah, he's coming the 3rd of August instead.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the week.
Yeah,
Thanks so
have a
much.
great week,
Great to see
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.